Our friends are watching live, right?
No, just tell me if it's live. It's not live, right?
It's live. It is live. All your London friends are watching live right now.
That's okay. It's fine. They know now how much I've so.
What is chicken curry exactly?
So Chikankari is a handwork embroidery art form. It's not a fabric, contrary to what people think it is. It is an embroidery art form that's done on different fabrics. And the first month, I think we did 5 lakhs in sales.
How much did you do last month?
We did approximately 3 crores.
Our guest today is Aakriti Rawal. Aakriti is the founder of House of Chikankari, a D2C brand. You may also know Aakriti from her appearance in Shark Tank Season 2, where the mother-daughter duo became an instant phenom. Today's conversation is about how anyone can become an entrepreneur by applying some basic fundamentals of business and a lot of perseverance. We hope you enjoy this episode of First Unicorn Chats. Aakriti, welcome to First Unicorn Chats. How are you doing?
Hi Raj, thanks so much for having me. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, since the last time we met, you've become a minor celebrity. So, how is that? How is dealing with all that popularity which has come along after Shark Tank?
I don't think I'm a celebrity yet, but yeah, I mean, the last time we met, I think we just started House of Chikankari, and I think we're now 2 years into the business after Shark Tank. And it's been great. I think I'm living in a post Shark Tank world. I always tell people that pre-Shark Tank, like, my life was really different. Now I'm in a fantasy world. And like dreams we thought would come true probably 3 years down the line, we're living those dreams. So it's a lot of, good things happening, but a lot of challenges as well.
I'm sure, yeah. But if I may say this, right, even before the entire Shark Tank thing happened, you were very, enthusiastic and upbeat about House of Chikankari, right? And the reason I remember this is because the first time my wife and you met, she asked you what do you do, and you're like, oh, we have an Instagram page called House of Chikankari, and she's like, I follow you, and you both hugged and met as if you're like long lost sister, right? So has that motivation only kind of gone to the next level?
It definitely has. Like, I remember when I met Vishaka, it was one of the early days, like, right? So I think our followers must be around 10,000-12,000. So someone coming and telling me that they follow us was a very big deal for me, because I used to like think that, oh, people know us, right? And we were just an Instagram brand. We didn't have a website at the time. And for someone to actually know our brand and, follow us, it just like, I just felt really excited that, someone already like knows the brand. So I told her I feel really happy when someone comes and says that to me, because I feel like we've done something right, So that's pretty exciting. And I think, yeah, it's definitely gone up, and not just for me, for the entire team now. So everyone's super excited, super pumped for the next leg of growth.
Very interesting. We take one step back, right? For the people who don't know, what is chicken curry exactly?
So Chikankari is a handwork embroidery art form. It's not a fabric, contrary to what people think it is. It is an embroidery art form that's done on different fabrics. It originates from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, and villages around that. So artisans around Lucknow do it by hand, and it is a labor-intensive art form. And it is something that's been around for generations. It's been something that is traditionally very unorganized. It's supposed to be known to be, popular amongst women beyond like post the, over 45 plus. It's been something super unorganized. It's been always available in local markets. There's not been an organized brand or organized way of, organized system around the art form in itself. And that's where we come in. That's how we started. We thought that there is a big gap on, customers receiving the right quality of chikankari embroidery, awareness about the art form in itself, and just I think the industry as a whole required a lot of organization. No one had done that before. There were a few players trying to do it, but we saw a big gap, and that's where we came in to make it more relevant in an e-commerce organized, structural way, also catering to a much younger and I would say contemporary audience, right? Like we're catering to an audience through our contemporary designs. We're bringing like Western silhouettes, bringing a shirt or a coat set, a dress in chikankari, because it becomes more relevant for generations moving forward.
Right. you're wearing chicken curry.
Yeah, I am.
Right?
I am.
And this is a very, maybe may seem like a very uneducated question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is the difference between Mulmul and what you guys do? And chicken curry?
So, I mean, Mulmul, Shop Mulmul is the brand. Yeah. So, I mean, Mulmul has been there for about 5 years now. They are they're doing a lot of ethnic wear as well. I think the biggest difference is that we are handwork oriented, and all the embroidery on our garments that is done by artisans by hand. So, the especially like most of our designs, I would say, right? So, with Mulmul, I think the embroidery is not hand, it's machine work. It looks quite similar visually probably, but when someone who knows Chikankari, and what we're trying to also do is educate the people on how you make sure what is machine and hand. So our customers today can tell you what is a House of Chikankari a piece and what is a Mulmul piece, because they are now educated. They are, our loyalists, they know what the handwork is and how it looks different. I think the primary difference is that, I mean, beyond that, we're both catering in an ethnic wear segment. So there's a lot of, obviously, overlap as well.
I'm sure, right now I'm asking this question in a relatively safe environment. But the last time I asked this in front of my wife, she was like, you just don't know this much? A huge difference. I was like, okay, I'll ask Aakriti directly. But we come back to the business side of things, right? You guys started in which year?
2020, October.
So that was 2020 October. So coming out of the first wave of
lockdown, yeah.
Right? That was a very interesting time, right? Because pre-2015, 2016, it was all about offline.
Yeah.
The word D2C was not really there.
Yeah.
So when you started, did you know that you were doing D2C, or was that something that kind of came over time?
I think it came over time. For us, like, we just started. So like, my mother is my co-founder, and she's had crazy experience in textiles and production, and just out of passion, right? So she was a homemaker for 22 years. And I was a marketing major. Like, I'd done my master's in marketing, and I had a job at a fashion startup. I knew I would do something on my own eventually, but like, I was on that hunt of finding the right product, in the COVID first wave. I left my job because I was pretty sure that, okay, this is the only time now I can start a business, because I have too much time. I'll never have this much time, and then I'm just going to regret like not starting something. So I was on that hunt of a business idea for a very long time. And I think I checked out every product, everything that's available on Alibaba. So I was, in that zone that what is that one thing? And I was sure that I wanted to do something related to e-commerce. I want to have my own website. I want to be D2C, without the term that ever came up in my head. I was sure that I wanted to do it like that, because I think I still think that my forte always was marketing, because, I was a marketing major. So I thought there was a lot I could do around social media and organic community building. I thought that was my forte, and that's why I wanted to focus on having my own website and everything. Right. So I just saw, and like one fine day, like my mom just, like one of the embroiders she knew for her personal work just told her that he wanted, some extra work for himself. And that's how like it started. I was like, oh, hand embroidery. Okay, let me just read about it. So I just read about it. I came across Chikankari, and I fell in love with it. And I saw like there was no brand like, out there online. There was not that one brand standing out. And I told my mom that I think we should go to Lucknow. And my mom, she was so passionate about the production side of things and textiles that she got really excited, even though she had a slip disc at the time. And I told her, how will we go? And if we don't go, we're going to miss out on the festive season, because we just decided to go to Lucknow, and we said we're going to launch in a month. Like, it was like very quick. We didn't take time to like, okay, I found the gap. I mean, that was the only time we took. We took about 1 week, I would say, to, realize that, okay, there's a gap. We want to test it out. But when we start, so that's how it started. We went to Lucknow, and both of us just fell in love with what the art form is. And I mean, the price at which, people are willing to buy a hand embroidered piece, and I think it just fit really well at the time. And we just thought we'll try it out, and we'll try it out with an Instagram page. We won't spend too much money. We won't open a website. We'll just try and we'll see what happens. And we started, I think we went in August 2020, and October we launched the brand. The first shoot was done on my best friends with an iPhone. And my best friend, she kept telling me, spend on a shoot. I was like, I'm not spending on a shoot. So we started very organically. Like, I was very, very conservative in spending money. It was later, I think after a year or so, that my dad put in some money when we decided that, okay, we want to scale now. And we got that validation. But when we started on, we took all these calls, like iPhone shoots on my best friends. And like all of them were telling me, like, you should like maybe consider a professional shoot, because I don't know if this will sell. And I was like, okay, we'll do it when I have the money. I'll do a shoot with the money the business makes. I don't want to like put in more to like gain that validation. So I think that's how it just started, and it was, I think, just very organic, and everything just fell into place. And then we just kept taking, a new call every day as we grew. And the first month, I think we did 5 lakhs in sales, and I think I was like over the moon, because I never imagined. I think we did about 100 orders, if I'm not wrong, or less than, I think a little more than 100. And
How much did you do last month?
so we did approximately 3 crores.
Oh my God. And how much of that was Shark Tank effect?
So Shark Tank effect did last about a week or two. I would say, like, the massive boost that comes in with Shark Tank, right? So 2 weeks are mad. Like, you don't have the time. You're just like, and like I have screenshots of like all the data from my Shopify website, like the traffic that's coming in, the orders that's coming in, and it's unreal. Like, and you want it every day.
Right.
And that's the thing, like, because you see it, you want it every day. And then obviously, like after 2 weeks, it dies down a bit, it slows down a bit. And then the real challenge becomes to retain that traffic and continuously, grow from there. I think that's the challenge that comes with it. Also, inventory management. Like, you get to know 3 days before that your episode is airing. You can't possibly prepare for the inventory.
Right.
So what do you do? I mean, so we launched a lot of our collections that were planned. Our episode came out in Jan. And a lot of our collections that were planned for the Feb launch, we had to launch it in Jan. There was no option. So by the end of Feb, we were out of stock, right? Because we launched everything that was planned for Feb in Jan. So you can't possibly prepare for this. I think for people, like for us also, like we can't manufacture in 2 days. We're into a hand-embroidered product. It takes time, the production cycle is more. So I think, yeah, those were some of the challenges. And after that, we kind of just focused completely, after the first month of Shark Tank, just focus on retaining whoever came, on improving, the customer satisfaction to a level that people keep coming back. Right. And I think retention became a priority for the next 2-3 months. And yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
That's very interesting. We'll just dial that back a little bit, right? There's a few interesting concepts that that you tapped upon. One was obviously the retention aspect, which is that there'll always be a bump up, right? Because of the Shark Tank effect, right? Same thing happened with edtech companies during COVID. They saw a flush of liquidity and even users coming on board, right?
Yeah.
But that didn't last, as you can see in the environment today.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of folks around that time kind of understood that, right? That this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
Right. It's a sugar rush. So how do you make that sugar rush last from a retention perspective?
Yeah.
But the other side of it is also DIOs, right? Which is days inventory outstanding.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of balance that, right? On one level, you want your inventory to get over.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have to fulfill that inventory.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that with retention? Because it kind of feeds into customer experience from there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have it, people want it now.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you balance the two things?
So I think like we've become a lot better now from what we were 2 years back, right? I think when we started out, we didn't even know how to like cater to like more, like I think like luckily we've been always in a situation where there's always more demand for us than the supply. We've always been that. So that's been a big challenge for us, because we didn't want to grow rapidly. We knew that we had the demand, but we didn't want to like just blow it up. We wanted to take it easy, because I've been very conservative. We were bootstrapped for the longest time, right? We're still like 3.7% is the investment we got from Shark Tank, and that's all the investment we had. So I think the conservativeness in taking decisions also comes from that. You want to do the right thing. You want to increase your top line, but I think maintaining that sustainability, having that conservative approach, I think that was a big reason. I still am very conservative. So my team sometimes really tells me to like, go out there and increase the risk and everything. And we will eventually when the time comes, and maybe when we raise a new round or something, whenever the time comes, right? Maybe we do it. But like as of now, we have an approach of having that sustainability in place. So it's okay. Like, that comes with certain sacrifices. It comes with maybe we will not like restock certain products, right? So I think that comes with certain sacrifices, and to each its own. You decide how you want to build that company. You decide what's important to you. I think other than just the profit sustainability, what's also important is the team sustainability for us, right? So we have about 100 people in our team today. We started with 3 people, my mother and I, and, a daughter of a domestic help. And she's now heading a department, like she's heading the quality check department with us. So I think there's also a lot of people who are involved from our local community. Like, someone got their brother, someone got their sister. We have a lot of people in operations. So I think, seeing them grow, it makes me and my mom really happy. And it's really important to us. Like 4 years down the line, we don't want to be someone who was laying off people because we were growing too fast.
Right.
Because it's really important to us that if they've grown with us, we're able to give them that growth even more. I think that's something very personal to both of us because we've seen their growth very up close. And I think, so it just comes down to what really is important to you and how you want to build it.
Correct.
And you take it accordingly, you make the sacrifices accordingly. It's fine if you don't have inventory, but it's okay. But you also have obviously growth goals. It's not like you completely have no growth goals. We do have it. But you take each step, I think, a little more conservatively than probably it was done for 3 to 4 years back, right?
Right.
When people were just burning and putting in all the money.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings me to another interesting question, right? You guys raised in January 23.
Yeah.
Right? And that's basically after that, the episode aired in 23.
Yeah, episode aired in 23.
And basically after that is when the funding winter started, right?
Yeah.
Until then, it was just that, hey, if I have sales, growth at all costs, the capital will be available for me.
Yeah.
Right? What was the first time that you actually thought about fundraising, external fundraising?
I'd actually never... I was just so busy doing my job. I never thought about it. I never honestly thought that... I thought about it. Like, I thought that, okay, maybe we'll go for it eventually when things get better. But things never got better. Like, when the work is less. You keep thinking, okay, when work's a little less, I'll think about it. So I think that was... a lot of interest came to us itself. And I think that taught me a lot. I spoke to a few people who were involved in investing in D2C startups, in fashion particularly, before Shark Tank. So I think I'd spoken to a Chirasio model player like back in Jan 21, 22, Jan 22. And that was the first time, I ever like pitched to someone or I understood what it was and it came to us itself. And I just like kind of understood what it is, what the space is. And I was really scared. I still remember like, oh my God, I can't even like before the pitch, like, I had a nervous breakdown, I think, So that was the first time it happened. And then we spoke to a few more and everything just came to us itself. We were speaking to another one just before we got selected for the final pitch of Shark Tank. So that didn't go through because I was like, okay, now I have to wait. Now I want to go on Shark Tank and then I want to see what happens and like what it is because we knew that the business would gain a lot of publicity as well. So a lot of it came to us in our case itself. And it was not a well-conscious decision. Shark Tank was also something I was not personally ready for. I was not ready to go out there and just reveal everything about the company. There was a lot of competition coming up. Like, I was just like so busy doing my thing that I didn't know if sharing it publicly on a national television is what I want to do. But my team was really sure about it. Like, they really pressured me. They filled the first form, like, without like kind of telling me.
Right.
So that was pretty good, I think, because they'd also seen a participant from Shark Tank season 1 and they knew up close and, they knew the business like really went up and the business really helped the business. So there was a lot of pressure from my team to apply and that's how it happened. And I mean, I still thank them because I think it's the best thing to ever happen to, my mother and me and also the team, everyone equally. So definitely, that. And we never thought of it consciously, but then eventually as we got into the process of Shark Tank, there were 4 rounds. Right. So by the time the second and third round came, I sort of started getting this feeling that, okay, I want this now. Like, and more than fundraising, Shark Tank like involved, being attached to people who are well networked, Piyush Bansal, Aman Gupta, all the other sharks as well. Right. So I think that became really important. Okay, I finally have someone I can go to my problems with because sometimes I don't know who to go to. Right. So I need that mentorship. So I think I got really excited that, okay, I need that someone now because if I have to take the business to the next level, I think it's really important. And then like funding, of course, that comes with it. But I think funding in our case was like not the major criteria. It was always mentorship first because we had become profitable by the second year. So we were kind of reinvesting everything the business was making back into the business, right?
Right.
So it was not the first criteria, I would say. Of course, it does help towards growth. It was, I think, the mentorship and the publicity the brand gets. Right? Like the story, you take that story, we would run after people. I think 2 years back, we would like write emails to publications that, feature us. No one would feature us, not even a single person. And we would keep telling them that, it's an artisanal product. There's a like artisan actually making it. We can like get you pictures, videos, like the story is really good. And then like, of course, my mom coming back to work after 22 years, like, so it wasn't like a good story and there's nothing fake about it, right? Like it was all true. So, but no one responded to us. You know, we like, I think we'd probably send around more than 50 emails to 50 publications in the last 1.5 years, pre-Shark Tank. And so all these things just get better, right? And after Shark Tank, everyone wants to feature you. And it just becomes easier. I think you just get that thappa of, you know, that, okay, you made it. Like, no one cares if you made it before. So it's just sad because, you know, you keep running after people, but it really happens after they actually see it on a national television. And then, you know, you get that support that, okay, like, let's feature the story of the brand or who the team is or whatever they're doing.
Right. You know, you also mentioned that it's kind of underway putting your business and your numbers out there.
Yeah.
A lot of founders doing that, right? And so in my banking career and in VC, right, a lot of founders, early stage founders would be like, yeah, हमारे numbers नहीं दिखने चाहिए किसी को. And I never understood that because one of the things that, you know, the Indian consumer is kind of blamed for is not being loyal, right? But there's a correlation between recurring revenues and how much the customer trusts you.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the reason I bring this up is when I was watching your episode, I was having this conversation, right? Which is that, hey, यार लोग को डर नहीं लगता होगा अपने सारे numbers बताते हुए.
Yeah.
And that's when I told my wife that, look, they're also giving an indicator of quality, right? That they've grown as much as they have, and they've done it sustainably, and they've done it on their own while employing all of these women, right? Which you guys got from tier 2, tier 3, right? So the thing is that maybe they're not realizing, I don't know if you guys did, but you're actually building, you know, just brand love through all of that.
Yeah, I mean, Shark Tank, I think the biggest benefit in terms of towards the brand, monetary, separate because it lasted 1 or 2 weeks probably, and then we had to retain it. I think the qualitative aspect is something that you cannot even like put into monetary terms, right? The benefit of like our customers like messaging us and emailing us that, okay, like give my congrats to Aakriti and Poonam. We follow them since they had like 0 followers or 1,000 followers. So, you know, messages like this, like I think they made all the difference to us. And people commenting on our posts that, okay, you know, we've been seeing you since the start. It's so good to try your products before Shark Tank because now everyone else will. But we have tried it before Shark Tank. So, you know, just messages like this, you know, that community feeling that you get, I think that's amazing. It makes you feel that you're doing something right. But yeah, I mean, putting your numbers out there, it's really scary. It is really scary. And I don't think there's no like, I don't know, maybe it's like nazar or something, you know, how we like say it at like in our households, like, I don't know, it's not even, my mom says that. So like, she puts it in my head. But for me, it's not that. For me, it's just like, you know, just focus on one thing. There's too many people out focusing on what others are doing. So I just feel that I was always, you know, I had this mentality that I don't want to share anything, what I'm doing. I want to do my thing, but I don't want to know what others are doing. You know, I want to do my thing. I just want to work hard. So I just feel that I don't want anyone to think about my work because I don't think about this. But, you know, when you go out, you share so much information. Like, of course, like, you know, there's competition that comes up. Pre-Shark Tank, the chicken curry industry in general was already growing. Because of COVID, the unorganized sector, it went, you know, to an e-commerce solution. So there were a lot of new brands coming in. When we started, I think there were namely 3. Like, and now today there's every second day there's a new chicken curry brand, and post Shark Tank it's just gone. I think it's doubled. Every day there's 2. I see, you know, and of course, like, you know, I'm not saying that they're looking at us and copying us, but I'm just saying that the industry as a whole has really opened up because of e-commerce. And then a national television taking an art form, you know, selecting a brand, be it us or someone else, you know, selecting an art form like us, it just makes people feel there's an opportunity.
Right.
And it's not just us, probably other startups that came in felt the same, right? Like there's a lot of other industries that came in, so I'm pretty sure it's the same. But I can just talk from my industry, what I have experienced was happening post-Shark Tank, so it happens, right? And you see designs being copied left, right and center, what you're wearing on Shark Tank, your pictures being used. So there's a lot of things, challenges that come with that visibility also.
Correct. But also now with the government support which is coming through, right, even for, you know, MSMEs and other industry, smaller companies, the competition is about to rise.
Yeah.
How do you think something like an ONDC plays into that? I know it's more for the e-commerce marketplace.
Yeah.
And you guys are more organic.
Yeah.
But how do you think that ONDC is going to affect your particular space?
So we've been actually in talks with ONDC for a while now, and we will probably onboard on ONDC pretty soon. Currently, they're mainly retail oriented, where food and grocery I think is really doing well for them. But I think it's a super good opportunity for small businesses in that industry for now. Fashion maybe eventually grows, and we are currently only on our website. But when we do decide to be, expand our channels, I think it could help. And ONDC fits really well for a brand like us, I also feel, because it's not a marketplace. Right? I think one of the biggest misconception is that, like, I've spoken to a few people and everyone thinks ONDC is a platform. So it's a network in itself, right? So it works well with the brand, I would say, image or the branding that our brand has, because it allows us to be present as House of Chikankari, ship the products through our warehouse, have our own logistics, have everything under our name, but yet gain, I think, better reach through a better customer reach, customers discovering us through new places, and also at a lower cost, much lower cost.
Exactly.
So that's how I think it fits for us, and it makes sense for a brand like us, because it allows us to keep that branding intact and allows us to have the control, because on marketplaces, a lot of them, do have high commissions, number one. They also are very discount-led, so discounts are given even though a brand may not want to, for example. So you can keep that control on your brand, I think, with ONDC, because essentially it's just a network for bigger reach for you.
Right.
So I think that's pretty good, and we will onboard on it for sure, because it's just a matter of time. They're doing very well on retail. And I think the challenge, though, is that obviously because it's still new, there's a lot of teething issues. A lot of people, I think, face early on issues like food delivery, not being able to track that, and not being able to have that proper seamless tech that, obviously giant marketplaces have. So I think that will be a problem for a while, but I think it'll get better. And the biggest advantage is that reach that a small brand or a growing brand can get.
True. I think you can't expect them to be on like a Flipkart or an Amazon in terms of the entire network right off the bat. Right? But what the government has shown is that they have the potential, right? To do UPI, right? They did get all of those networks in place, which is now like the number one thing in the world from a financial system perspective, right? Speaking of financial systems, one of the things that, the ecosystem has been facing a lot of is corporate governance issues, right? Prawns within startups. And that is more so when, startups have raised more capital. Who's there to kind of play with. You guys have just kind of taken basically the money that you needed and taken that and grown, right? Do you feel at some point that, those guys, they did have advantage because they had that capital to begin with?
I mean, capital does make a lot of your, growth vision and growth dreams come sooner, right? But it comes, I think, at its own cost. What you intend to do in the next 3 years, you probably have to do with that much capital in 6 months.
Right.
So it also comes with, I think, results that you have to show. And I just feel that you have to just sit back and analyze as a founder that what is that route you want to take. Like, if you want to run on that treadmill, you do. It's fair enough. But when do you want to do it? I think that matters. You have to decide when are you ready, to show that growth at a much faster pace. So I think if you think of it like that, I feel it's okay. Yeah, they did have an advantage, but I will also when I decide to raise.
Correct.
Right? So if I'm choosing not to raise a bigger round or take just the amount I want, it's more a personal decision, because there may be certain systems internally that I want to fix first. That's how I think, right? Like that I don't want to just pressurize the team, hire 100 more people and just increase the operations overnight. So that's how I think that sustainability and processes being in place is really important, because at scale, changing any process becomes even more difficult. And we're facing that now. I mean, the systems we didn't put in place from day one because we didn't have the money or the funds, all the tech systems that we're putting in place now, it takes a toll on our brain, because we're doing it, while the dispatches are on or while the inventory has already increased to so much. So I think it's really important to focus on the processes while you're trying to raise capital, and because it comes with a lot of pressure. It does come with a result. Pressure to prove, get those results in a shorter time, no matter what you say, because if someone's putting in money, they do want the return, right?
Right.
So I think it's really important to look at it from that perspective also.
Yeah, it's very true. And I was, interestingly, I was having this conversation with one of my portfolio founders where, he'd raised a huge sum of money at the time. And I was telling him, and he's growing extremely fast, right? And I think at the time that we invested earlier, he was at like a 50 lakh rupee revenue. And then the second round, he was like at 70 crores plus annual, right? So I told him this, that look, the systems which work at 1 crore MRR break down at 2 crores, then they break down at 3 crores.
Yeah.
Right? Don't stress yourself out about that,
Yeah.
but pre-plan it.
Yeah.
Right? That is what the advantage you have with the capital in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? But I think people focus more on the capital raising than the capital deploying.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the whole issue kind of comes up.
Yeah.
I think the next segment, we're gonna try a new segment this time. Right? This is basically questions from your friends,
Okay. Wow.
which they are, let's say, they've been scared to ask you.
Really? Which friends did you contact? Can I know this?
Maybe later. They're not that bad, but here are very curious questions.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we'll start with the first one. Do you plan to come to offline retail?
I mean, eventually.
Okay, that's a straight up answer. Do you consider collaborations with established designers for a limited collection?
We could.
Those are not very helpful answers, you know.
I mean, we could. Just think, the thing is that we're also we're in a stage where we're doing so many things that all these ideas possibly may have been discussed or will be discussed. But what happens is that we can't put a timeline as to when we'll do it. So we're keeping our brain open to everything, and we will obviously want to do a lot of these innovative things, but when is like very difficult to answer at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. If you had a buyout offer for House of Chikankari today, how much would you sell for?
Today, I don't think I'm ready to sell today. I think I need some time. I think I need some time.
That's why it's a hypothetical.
I mean, I don't know. I can't even imagine selling it right now, but I mean, I think it would be somewhere in the 3 digits.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100% thing, right? 100% thing.
If you had 36 crore MRR.
Yeah.
ARR, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, some baseline would be probably that. Anything over that is between me and the acquirer.
I don't know. But no, I got my answer. Thank you. Another question now is, since House of Chikankari is sitting between two segments, which is festive wear and everyday wear, where do you see the future going? Do you see going more upscale to like the Ritu Kumar segment, or do you want to go more affordable?
We definitely want to go more affordable because we feel that like we might have a range which is premium, but I think like how we will like scale is obviously, you know, becoming more affordable and having probably a range which is slightly lower.
Fair enough. Next question. Do you think you would collaborate with a friend for a project with House of Chikankari?
I would be open to, of course, yeah.
I'll let them know. Okay, final question on this front, right? Do you think the Shark Tank investment, the capital per se, it came at the exact right time, or do you think it should have happened sooner or later? What is your thought behind that?
So, a lot of people have asked me this question, like in my personal life also. So, I'd just like to say, I feel that like, I'd like to explain this a bit, right? Like, I think I don't have any comments. I think it's the right time, whatever, for us. For some people who required the capital, right, and did not go for another round because they got it in Shark Tank, for them it was a problem. For us, it did not matter, as I said, because money was always a like secondary thing for us when we went for Shark Tank. We were surviving and we were, you know, managing our funds and running the business. But I know that a few people who wanted to go for rounds, they couldn't because the capital, they were waiting for the capital to come in and they thought they'll go for another round after. So it's been I think it's been quite difficult for them. In our case, I think it was fine and it just went at the right pace, and maybe what happened in our case happened, you know, for the best. And I also feel this season, the scale of startups that was there was massive, okay? Like every second business was at a 15-20 crore revenue.
Right.
So the amount, and there's for due diligence, there's a few companies that do it post the episode comes out. So the scale at which the due diligence was happening this year versus the last year, it also increased. The documentation and the amount of things that are required. So that takes time.
How much was the time between the time that you guys shot and got the offer, so the closure when the money hit the bank?
Yeah, so I mean, 4 months, we shot in October. In October, the episode came in Jan. And I think about 3 to 4 months after for the due diligence to be completed.
And I think that because
there's a lot of volume these guys have, right? So I think what people have to also realize is Shark Tank is not like a normal fundraise anyway. The valuations you get are different, you know, the concept is different, the visibility the brand gets is not like any other fundraise round. So you can't expect the procedures that happen outside to exactly be the same. They have a lot of volume to cater to, I feel.
Yeah, but even now, due diligences are taking time. Even today, they're taking at least 3 months. Now it's longer.
Yeah.
Because there's a trust deficit suddenly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of all the corporate governance issues. But I think that's a topic altogether. Yeah. Next one, next segment is you have to agree or disagree with the following statement. Yes or no, right?
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah. It's not complicated.
What's simple, yeah?
I can say maybe also.
No. Yeah. What is middle ground? India will be a $10 trillion economy by 2030.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Without funding, most D2C brands in India in the next 12 months would die.
I mean, I don't know if they die in 1 year, but it's going to be tough. Like, people have to focus on the right things, I would say.
Fair enough. You would leave a party or a wedding to go and work. I know the actual answer to this, huh?
Have I done this? Yeah, I probably have done it. I have done
You have.
I have done it. Yeah, I would. I think I would. Like, there's no option. It depends on what the work is, but I would.
See, investor, she's so honest. Give her your money. All right, last one. We will see more startup frauds emerge in the next few months.
I mean, no, I don't think so. I think now that the focus is a lot on doing things right, like, you see around what people are sharing and like how the focus is on building it sustainably. Like, so I think from a founder perspective also, the psychology will change and people will be wary of like doing frauds like before probably.
But the thing is that emerge, right? So the ones who've already been doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on that, but what I feel is like new startups and people who are like now seeing like, what's being said around and how people are talking about startups and funding and everything. I think you are more like wary of doing, any fraud and you want to do things the right way. So, I mean, I can just talk from my perspective, but that's what I feel.
That's fair, but I think all of these things actually come up when liquidity is low.
Yeah.
Right? So there's so much capital in the bank, there's lesser intent to, dig deeper. Right? I just feel that for the previous guys who've like raised money in 2020, 2021, if there's anything, now it's going to start emerging even more because I think investors will also try to clean up the books, right? Like, let's mark down the portfolio for a quarter, but get all the shit out.
Yeah.
So that is my perspective from being an insider. Okay, last segment, right? First word that comes to mind.
Okay.
When I say chicken curry.
Like no.
Shark Tank.
Investment. I was going to say Piyush and Aman, but that was 2 words. So.
Money.
Contentment.
London.
College.
Entrepreneurship.
Resilience.
That's an excellent answer. Aakriti, thank you so much for being with us.
And thanks so much.
Again.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
3 things we learned from our conversation with Aakriti. Number 1 is the age of the creatorpreneur. Your ability to sell online is at half strength if you haven't learned the use of social media. Number 2, as a founder, you have to become comfortable with taking calculated risks. Often being conservative is the bigger risk. Number 3, the systems that you have in place at 1 crore revenue may not work at 2 crores, and the ones you have at 2 crores might not work at 3. Your processes and businesses have to evolve at the same pace. Thank you for watching, and for more such insightful discussions, like, share, and subscribe.